Hit record. Hello, good morning, and thank you for joining us today it's actually Friday morning, a bonus call with Winnie and Kat. It's Friday, June 6th. It's been a very exciting week. We moved from the home office, aka my garage, to a real office, which is so exciting, and I wanted to thank Tiff and Jen, independent stylists and stylist liaison, for helping us move, and Cheney and Kyle have just made it fairly smooth, and I hope it was a smooth transition for everybody. And it's a great location. It's a great feeling. So this week is a milestone for Winnie and Kat. So thank you, everybody. And we have today, as promised, and we did this a version of this call on Monday evening, Kimberlyn Werfel from San Diego. And I asked Kimberlyn to join the call, and this is going to be a Q&A on how to throw awesome trunk shows. So Kimberlyn has really high volume shows, and so I'm going to let Kimberlyn kind of take it away there. She has a lot of great tips that she shared with us earlier. And feel free when you have questions, and we have some guests on the call as well, besides independent stylists, so welcome. Thanks for joining us today. This is what it's like at Winnie and Kat. And so if you have questions or comments, just go ahead and type them in the question box, and then let me know if you can talk to, and I can unmute you if we don't get to your questions during the call. We can get back to you after the call if depending on timing. So anyway, so Kimberlyn, how are you this morning?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for joining us. And so tell us, Kimberlyn, and one of the things that inspired us, and I know Tiff had a conversation with you, and she came into my office and she said, you know what Kimberlyn just said that is so great. I don't have a problem coaching my friends. So many times you hear people say, oh, I don't want to ask my friends, which is, thinking about it, it's kind of funny because they're friends, right? So Kimberlyn, why don't you just tell us how you do it?
Sure, absolutely. So this kind of came from a conversation. Tiff is great. She always calls after kind of milestone events or big shows or whatever. And I had a really big show about a month ago, and she just called to chit-chat with me and catch up and maybe see if there was something special about this particular show. And we talked a little bit about hostess coaching, particularly with friends, because that's been a difficulty for some people. So I've done quite a number of shows. I joined last October, and to date, with the exception of one show, all of my hostesses have been friends. And the first show, obviously, I didn't know how to coach very well, but you learn by doing. And I think probably one of the biggest and most important things that I do from a coaching perspective is really push them on the invite. I don't get a list and send out invites myself, but I do give them quite a few different options for how to invite people to the show, because that's obviously the critical piece, right? So what I've found and what I've coached my hostesses on specifically is if they're on Facebook and they want to create an event, I normally will create an event on my site and then forward it to them, and then they forward it on to their friends. And it's nice for visibility and some splash and maybe some chit-chat, but it really hasn't been successful in getting people to shows, just based on, I think, I don't know for sure, but I think based on how people view Facebook, either from their phones or iPads or whatever. So one show I did do where we only used a Facebook invite pretty much, we ended up getting people there, but we got a lot of people that said, oh, I had no idea you were having a show, I never got the invite, yada, yada. So I learned from that experience, and here's what I primarily do. We do the Facebook invite for the sake of doing it. Then I create a Word document that just has, one of our current pictures on it, and, real basics, the date and the hostess and so forth, a little blurb about Winnie and Kat. And then my friends can either print that out and mail it to friends or stick it in their mailboxes or hand it out, or they can email it as an attachment. And I generally will ask folks, how do you normally communicate with your friends? Are you a talker? Are you a texter? Are you an Instagrammer? What do you normally do? And these days, most people text. So Meredith Carpenter actually found this app a couple of months ago and turned on her team to something called Post. And it's just a little app that you can create invites on your phone. And, and when you create them, they turn into pictures. And then you can text those or you can email those as well. And the basic format, they've got pre-arranged little invitations or pre-designed invitations, and some of them have women in clothing, and they're just like, black caricatures with bright colored clothing. It's perfect for what we do. So I've actually been using those for the last month and a half, and even if we post it on Facebook and I've created a Word document, I also will create one of those invites because they're really unique. And I text it to my girlfriend or I email it to her girlfriend, and then she just sends those out. And that actually I think has been probably the most successful thing. One, because it's quick and easy. Two, because it's cute. And three, I just think it's unique. So I'll create one of those for the actual show date, and then we'll create a reminder that she texts or emails out a couple of days before the show. And again, it's really nice because everybody's got their friends in their phone, either email or their phone number, and it's just something that somebody can do. They don't have to sit down at their computer. I think people are intimidated by spending 30 minutes inviting people. So I think that has been my biggest hostess coaching, and I've actually had to tell friends. They'll say, oh, no, Facebook works for me, and I'll say, well, maybe, it probably does, but here's my suggestion. And so I've had to twist arms a little bit. But once they get the Post invite, that's a no-brainer. They're like, oh, my God, this is so cute. I love it. Yeah, I'll go ahead and send this out, too. So not to overstate it, but I think that's a really big deal. The second thing that I do, probably no surprise, is if my hostess already has Winnie and Cat items, then I ask her to wear them, obviously, preferably current season, and so far that hasn't been a problem. And at many of the shows, I knew some of the folks that were coming, and they also had Winnie and Cat. So I would put a note out to them or call them or have my hostess do it, depending upon who was maybe closer, and say, hey, can you wear your Winnie and Cat goodies as well? Because I'll use those folks as models. If they don't have clothing already, then obviously you want to find out what kind of resonates with the hostess and what's on her wish list. Hopefully you've got it in a size for her and have her wear that. But I highly recommend that, because what I will do during the show is if somebody's already got a base of Winnie and Cat on, then I can have them add a wrap shawl to it, and we can show how you can tie it different ways, or we can move the bodycon skirt from a top, or we can take the marble maxi from a shirt, from a dress to a skirt, and then add a wrap. And so that enables me to use people that the friends that have been invited know, and they can see how great and easy it is, and it just really speaks to the versatility of the clothing. So that's been a big deal. And I also do that throughout the show. So even if you start the show at a certain time, most people probably experience not everybody shows up at the same time. So when there's a lull or there's a new group of people coming in, then I will direct my hostess or another gal who's there to, hey, why don't you go throw on that jumpsuit, and then we'll play with the jumpsuit a little bit, and again, just kind of orient the new folks that have just come into the versatility of the clothing. And they're more than happy to do it. They're excited because, one, they're trying on different clothes, but everybody's always oohing and ahhing, so it's a lot of fun. The other thing I do at the show is I stage the clothing while it's on the rack. I have one of those racks that folds down. I actually put jewelry on the hanger, or a little, a purse that you can wear, across your body, or a little sparkly hat. I'll just actually, hang it onto the hanger over the clothes, and it just kind of shows people what the clothes look like. And people have commented numerous times, oh, it's really great that you've got, oh, that looks great. Oh, what a good idea to put the jewelry on there. It really makes me feel like I know what this might look like on, and it seems very, I don't know, you would think it doesn't make a difference, but I mentioned it because everybody says it makes a difference for them. I also have a couple of different types of belts that I bring in different colors or different kind of styles, and again, we can show the change of wearing the the wrap with a belt over it, or the jumpsuit with a belt, or whatever. That's been super helpful. Again, demonstrates versatility. And oh, one thing I knew I was going to try not to forget this. I don't know if Tiff's on to prompt me, but the other thing that I do at the shows is ask my hostesses about who's coming. And I'll clarify something that happened on Monday. I do, all of my hostesses so far except for one have been friends, but that doesn't mean that all of the people who attend the shows are friends. There might be people I've heard of or I kind of know, but they're not people that I actually know that well. So I'll ask my hostess in advance, certainly while I'm getting things prepared at the show, but in advance as well when I find out who's coming. I ask a little bit about them if I don't know them very well. Do they have kids? Do they work? Do they not? Are they into, do they wear their exercise clothes all the time? Kind of what their style is. And as I mentioned last week, I'm really bad with remembering names until I get to know somebody for a little while, but I remember, everything else about them other than their name. So it helps me to kind of categorize them as they walk in the door and already have a sense for what to ask them to try on. But it makes them feel like we've got an instant connection. They don't know that I know what they wear necessarily, but I just feel more comfortable approaching them and saying, hey, have you thought about wearing this? Or if I know them a little bit, and I know what their body type is, I'll ask them to go a little bit outside of their comfort zone and trying something on. And 9 times out of 10, they feel pretty comfortable in it. Once you've seen a few different body shapes and sizes in these clothes, you get a really good sense of what looks good, but people hold it up on the hanger and go, oh, that would never work on me. I would say step outside of your comfort zone and really suggest for somebody to try it on, because once they feel it and once they see themselves in it, they really do light up. So in a nutshell, that's maybe not such a nutshell, but that's what I do, and it's been successful for me.
Kimberly, that is such awesome advice. Thank you. And whoever has questions, just feel free to type them in and ask. And I'm going to ask a question in the meantime. Is it true that this last party that you had, is it true that you booked it in December?
Yes. And so, yep, I booked it from a party in December. And my girlfriend told me at the time, she's a teacher, and she just said, you know what, with the holidays and so forth, let's just plan to do this when the spring collection comes out. And so, yeah, I just stayed in contact with her and finally picked a date.
So how did that work? Like, how did that, because so many times, people say, oh, I want to do a party, and let's do it after, whatever, fill in the blank. So how did that actually work? Like, how did you get to the date?
Come to fruition?
Yeah.
Let's see. I think I had a spring launch party at my house where I was the hostess, and it invited everybody who had seen the fall collection.
Okay.
And she came to that and liked so many things. I said, hey, Allison, you haven't booked your show yet. You mentioned the spring. This is a great time. Let's do it now while we've got, fresh stock. And it was like, sure. And 2 weeks later, we had the show on the books. So. Another
thing that you had said on Monday is that you said that you were terrible at styling, but all your friends say how great you are at styling. So can you tell us a little bit about that, how you turned that around?
Yeah, I think that really came from one of the shows I did earlier this year where it was at my house. Again, I was the hostess, and I had some girlfriends over, and we were really just kind of playing with the clothes. But I watched them get creative. So I really kind of stole their ideas. Mm-hmm. And then, having gone to the Malibu mansion and seeing everybody wear their clothing there, and everybody looks so different in it, but everybody looks great in it. That's, I think, when I started adding the jewelry and the belts and stuff, I thought, I've seen people wear this, like Francie, right? She wears it completely different than other people, but she looks phenomenal. And so I've kind of ripped off ideas from what I've learned through my girlfriends, what I saw in Malibu, and just realized that I need to figure out a way to highlight how versatile these clothes are and how good they really do look on different body types. So by adding the jewelry, by wearing it a little bit differently, by putting a belt on, because a lot of people are very self-conscious about their middle, right? Or again, kind of adding the jewelry or adding the purse or adding the hat and showing that you can take something like one of the maxi skirts, you can really dress it up, or you can wear it with a white T-shirt and a hat and drop your kids off to school with flip-flops, and it still looks good both ways. So I've really just paid attention to versatility and decided that I wanted to focus on that, because I think that's really what I highlight at my shows. And if people are going to spend $80 on a shirt, they want to know that they have multiple uses for it. So I think that's what I really tried to play for. And I haven't had the objection of money very often, because I do think I don't sit there and say, hey, that's more bang for your buck, but I do think I'm demonstrating that this is a really worthwhile piece to have. Not only does it feel amazing, but you can wear it so many different ways, with jeans or with skirts, or your yoga pants, or a hat, or nice jewelry or casual jewelry, belts and unbelt. It's really, really versatile.
Okay, great. And this information is so important, because I feel like when you have your shows, you're spending the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's get the most bang for our buck. And I strongly feel in that in the training and coaching, to if you're going to spend however much time it is on a show, you want to make it the best show possible. And so, like for an $1,800 show, I mean, that's $450 cash to you.
Mm-hmm.
So, and so if anyone has questions while Kimberly's on the phone, I want to ask you too, Kimberly, about the friend thing. So what is it like? Like, how does that process go how do you coach your friends, and do you do your hostess coaching in person? How does it, tell us what it looks like?
Yeah, and you asked me this on Monday, whether or not I use the hostess coaching sheet, and I haven't, because I'm working with friends, and so it's a little less formal per se. Not that I think that's necessarily formal, but it's a little less prescriptive, right? But I mostly coach in person, and either phone or when I see somebody, or I'll make time to spend time with them. But I don't call them and say, hey, let's go have coffee so I can coach you for your show. It's definitely more casual than that, but I check in with them. We'll text back and forth. But yeah, I mean, it's verbal. It's not, I haven't created a document and said, here's some of the things you need to know. I mean, they do get a packet that, has some order forms in it, and their and catalog, and they certainly have the sheet that is, be a hostess or become a stylist. They've got that, so they know what their rewards are, even though they're in the catalog. And so I do give that to people. But yeah, I mean, it's verbal, because that's how I'm verbal. So that's worked for me. But again, if somebody, is really into communicating with their friends via email, then maybe that's a better solution for them. And I think I've picked, I can't remember if it was Deb Bixler or somebody else, but I think it's really important to be normal and be yourself in your business communications with your friends, because if you're not, then it just feels weird and it's less comfortable. That would be my advice.
So what do you say to people who say, oh, I would never ask my friends? I'd like to do this business, but I don't want to sell to my friends.
I would say there's got to be a couple of friends who you do know well that, would do a favor for you if you feel like you're doing, asking them for a favor. My personal feeling at this point is I'm doing them a favor. It's the last week of school, and so I've been at school 3 days this week. I've seen somebody in the marble maxi. I saw somebody in the sexy maxi. I saw somebody in the white cowl yesterday. My girlfriend texted me yesterday and said, hey, are you coming to assembly? I'm wearing my jumpsuit. Another girlfriend wore the jumpsuit. I'm really proud that, some of these ladies work at our school, that they are excited to wear their clothing, and that they are wearing it with enough frequency that, I see them in it all the time.
That's so fun.
Yeah, it's been so much fun. It kind of gives me chills. I'm like, wow, they love that so much. They're wearing it, So.
When I my kids are switching schools, and when we went to meet with the counselor, the assistant principal was wearing Woody and Cat. and I told her who I am, and she screamed, and she told everyone in the office, it's Woody and Cat, they're coming to our school. It's fun, right? When you see it around town.
Yeah. I'll tell you, my friends have been great. They've really been great. I had posted some pictures this weekend where I tagged my girlfriends wearing Winnie and Cat, And Facebook blew up over all their friends saying how great they looked in it, and so I had texted my girlfriends and said, how does it feel to see your name in lights? I owe you a bottle of wine.
Nice.
And both of them were like, no, we love this clothing, and we want to help support you. So absolutely, anytime you need models, we're here for you. They've been awesome. And a couple of the gals that have been particularly good customers and just really supportive weren't even necessarily all that good of friends. I would actually say that Winnie and Kat's, help us bond a little bit because I see them more and we have more reasons to interact.
That's cool. I think that is definite. I'm so glad you brought that up. That's a great benefit, I think, to this business is the friend. I love being in a room too, where I realized that no one in the room that I didn't know anyone before Winnie and Kat, and now I have all these new friends from the company.
Yeah. Exactly, and that's the same thing. There's quite a few people that live in our neighborhood, but I've got another job and I travel quite a bit, and so I'm not involved in room mom and all that stuff, or even I'm not able to be at a lot of the activities during the day or right after school. So I know of people, but I don't know them. But now I see people wearing Winnie and Kat, or I know them now because of Winnie and Kat, and I'll say, hey, how's it going? Oh, I love my shirt. I get so many compliments, whatever it might be. So it's really been a fun experience. And I said this to Tiffany, and she mentioned it the other day, so I'll say it now. It's like my friends or the people who've bought Winnie and Kat are my walking Winnie and Kat commercials. And I feel pretty confident that, on any given week around here, at least where I live, I've got 2 or 3 people wearing Winnie and Kat on any given day. It's pretty awesome,
And how do you mentioned your job. I'm glad you did. How do you fit it in? So you have a full-time job and a monster commute. You have 2 kids and a husband. And how do you fit in Winnie and Kat?
It depends on the week. As I can. That maybe sounds kind of like a lame answer, but that's really as I can. There are some weeks that are just in days that are just super busy, and I don't have a lot of active time, so it becomes passive, where, I'll post some things on Facebook or I'll follow up with people or whatever. But if I've set a goal to be active every month, and I think I have been since I've been in the business, and so what will happen is I generally have a sense for what my schedule is going to be like, so I can work around it, and sometimes things blow up and it gets busy. But that's when I'll just kind of force myself to put things out there and put feelers out there and say, I need $400 in sales at a minimum this month, so I'm just going to start calling people. And you can make an email, make a phone call, you can send a text. Actually, a really big show that I had a couple months ago, I created posts, and I hadn't had sales that month because I've been busy traveling and just things were nuts at work. And I thought, I've got to get my sales in. So I created one of those little post invites. I sent it out on a Friday. I did a Sunday afternoon show and a Monday night show to accommodate people's schedules. And I think that show was $1,700. And I literally sent out the invites on Friday.
Love that.
So I just pushed it and forced it. And, that took me, I don't know, maybe an hour. And I got my sales for the month, and that actually I booked a show from that. And, yeah, so, Diane, I do it as I can, but it's not easy. And I'm not always going to be able to do that, right? But I do put forth the effort when I have it.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Kimberlyn. You are very important to me and a very important part of this team, and I'm so glad to know you. This is an example of not knowing each other before the company, and I'm just look forward to keeping on getting to know you better. And thank you so much for joining. Does anyone else have any questions before we move on? And as Deb Bixler would say, that means that you did an excellent job presenting, Kimberlyn. You made everything super crystal clear, and everybody on this call is going to have an $1,800 party this weekend.
Yay!
So thank you so much, Kimberlyn, for sharing. And then I'm going to move on to the rest of the call. Won't keep you much longer. So we're having a June special. Woo woo woo! We introduced our 2 pieces in the last 2 months. The Christie's Snow Romper, which is a huge hit, a giant success, and this is a limited time item. So make sure that you are, oh, and Susan Kane just said that you were very helpful, Kimberlyn. So thank you, and thank you for that comment, Susan. I'm glad you're on the call. So the Chrissy Snow jumper is just an awesome piece. It's pull on, you've got your entire outfit, and I can tell you, I know all of you on the call, I think most of you have one, so you can you know how it feels, and it's just an awesome piece. And then we just introduced the poolside dress, which is in this slider, that is perfect for the 4th of July. The colors are red, white, and blue, and just a great summer lightweight piece. These quantities are limited as well. So for every independent stylist who joins in June, you get the jumper and the poolside dress for free. And I just posted that on Facebook. The total of the two pieces put together are $164, and that's 2 outfits. You know, you put on a jean jacket with the poolside dress. Lori just posted an adorable picture of herself with it on Facebook with a jean jacket. One of the photos Kimberlyn was talking about, which are so cute from her trunk show, one of her guests was wearing the jumpsuit with the wrap shawl, just super cute. So share the special. And I just want to, you know, it is such an exciting time right now in the company. Summer is a really, really important time because we're laying the groundwork for the fall. The fall is the big boom in direct sales. It's kids are going back to school, moms are looking for something to do. So right now is the time to inject energy in your business because it's your time to lay the foundation for the fall because of where the business is right now, which is an amazing, super exciting time. You may have seen on Facebook that I've been talking to investors and just looking forward to injecting more into training, into graphics. You love the most recent photo shoots. That's our independent stylist, Francie Wong, who's been taking the photos lately. So great, and I know you want to see more. So this is our time, everyone. This is our time to make Winnie and Kat what we want it to be. This is the time to work your business and work it hard. As much as you can do, as much as you can give, because we're going to look back at this summer. We're going to look back at the fall of 2014. Just like last fall, we went from 47 to over 100 independent stylists in 2 months. So we're going to get there. We're going to get to our next milestone is where we have 176 independent stylists now, and I want to just shoot to 250. And everyone is going to benefit from this. You saw the email from our compensation plan designer who said, congratulations, you're twice the size that Sensi was at this time, and I am so proud of what we're doing. I love being organic. I love our growth. Organic meaning our organic growth, and everything now is, I got a question made in the U.S., everything is made locally. We have fabulous vendors, and everything is about simplifying the business, the experience for you, the manufacturing of the collection, just getting the training, getting the company better and better and better, and laying that foundation so that we truly are the best direct sales company out there. So everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Kat asked the fabric. The fabric is sourced from, some of the fabric is imported. Everything is made and manufactured here, but some of the manufacturers do import fabric. So it's, but everything else is done here, not just the finishing, the whole process. So the time is now. Everybody share. If everybody in the company right now who's active brings on just one person this month, your teams are going to grow exponentially, and that person brings on one person. And think what you can do when a lot of you are top sellers and you're making great commissions just on your personal sales. when you start bringing team members on, your commission check, that bonus check that you get once a month, that's where the magic is going to happen. So you do have immediate control right now on your personal sales. And when you're in front of people, you're doing however many shows you're doing a month, if it's 4, if it's 6, if it's 8, if it's, whatever it is, you're getting in front of that audience. So make sure, use the training, go back, your next party, go back. If you're on Winnie and Kat Recruiting University, if you're not and you want to be on it, just email info and we'll see about getting you on. But focus on recruiting, booking your trunk shows, getting in front of as many people as you can, sharing the opportunity. Somebody told me this week, who's a trainer at a party plan company, she said that she taught for every 40 people she talks to, one join. Okay, I think with Winnie and Kat, I have to say I think it's less. I think it's more like 25. But if you think about that, if you can talk to, for every 40 people you talk to about the opportunity, one person's going to join. And I know you can talk to 40 people a week. You can probably talk to, I've done it, because that was part of when we grew from 47 to over 100. I made that list. You make the list of your people. Make sure you have your people on the newsletter. The newsletter is going out next Tuesday, so you want to make sure that you have everyone entered in there. If you have any questions, just ask us, and the instructions are on the forum. Make a commitment to yourself, to the company, and to me that you're going to talk to 40 people. Talk to 80 people, whatever it is, make that commitment. Start building your teams. Keep growing your teams. I want to thank you all for being here on this call, whether you're here live or you're calling in during the week. It is so appreciated. It shows that you care about your business, you care about the company. I want to give a special recognition this week to Natalie Porter. I love to recognize the stylists who are taking action for entire company growth, not just your own business, which is important too, because growing your own business is going to grow the whole company. And Natalie posted a Facebook on her Facebook a contest, and part of the requirement is that the likers like the Winnie and Kat main Facebook page. And the reason I found that out is because I noticed, hey, we're getting a lot more likes. And so I posted something, and then I'm doing a little contest. I'm going to send out a gift to the people who replied why they love Winnie and Kat. And I want to thank Natalie for that, for your team spirit, for entire company growth. So thank you, everybody. There's a couple more questions that I'm going to take offline and answer individually. And thank you, everybody. I have some quotes about friendship, and this will be posted online. I did record this time, and this is going to be put on our stylist forum. Some quotes about friends, because really our friends are people who are going to support us and help us. And what would you do for a friend? The dead body one I just put there because I thought it was really funny, but it's kind of true. A good friend is going to help you. A good friend wants you to succeed. A good friend is somebody who will enjoy throwing a party for you and saying, okay, I want you to buy stuff. I want you to have fun, and I want you to buy clothes from Kimberlyn or whoever's doing the party. So thank you, everybody, for joining. It's an exciting time at Winnie and Kat. It's going to be an awesome summer, and can't wait to watch businesses grow. Can't wait to be involved and get to know everybody as we're moving forward. So have a wonderful rest of the day. Enjoy your weekend, and look out for the weekend email coming soon. Bye-bye, everybody.